All right, hello and howdy. Hello, everybody. All right, so this is what the video today is going to be the topic of. CB radios, 11 meter, 27 megahertz. You know, trucker radio, trucker communications. All right, so essentially what I have in my vehicle, for those of you that don't know me, is a Connex CX 3300 HP. What that allows me to do is talk on all 40 channels of the 11 meter band. It is an import radio. What that means is it's meant to be used as a ham radio to operate on the 10 meter frequencies. Essentially, to make it work on the 11 meter, even though it is factory made to, you have to modify it. You have to jump a couple of resistors, take a resistor out, or something like that. I don't know for sure what it is you have to do with the Connex CX 3300 HP. I'm sorry, I do have to reference it quite often, even though I've had this radio now for 2.5, 3.5, something like that years. I just always refer to it as my Connex 3300 HP. I leave off the CX. It is a major difference. I will get up and close with it in just a moment and show you what those differences are for those of you that are interested. And I will leave a something up there showing where to skip to if you don't really care to see uppy closey, and a little bit of a description. Without further adoozies, let's jump into the radio. We have a few things to get to, and hopefully the light holds out for us. Alright, so right here we have my Connex CX 3300 HP. Now, yes, that looks like a fire hazard waiting to happen. I promise you it's not. Everything is wired up nicely. Doesn't look nicely, but I promise it's a lot nicer than it was. So get off my back and let's try to hold off on the comments. I will show either in this video or another video exactly how it is wired. And I'll even explain how badly it was wired before. It was a rolling fire hazard waiting to happen. I never would have passed a Virginia state safety inspection. So anyway, let's dive in. Let's go ahead and turn her on. Now I'm keeping the volume all the way down because she is a sensitive beast. I don't mean like an SJW snowflake. Oh yeah, by the way, I call everybody out. I don't really care. So as you probably just noticed, I turned down the dimmer just so that there's not as much glare. I don't know, it looks like it's pretty bad in the video, but hey, it might have looked a little better for you. So I'll let you guys comment in the description or in the comments below whether you think it looks better on the low or on the high for you viewers. And there's also a medium option as well, so go ahead and give a comment, let me know. All right, let's start from the left. First, you have your volume knob, potentiometer on here. All of these are potentiometers that control all these individuals. So you have volume, squelch. Now, for those of you that are new to the hobby and don't understand what squelch is, essentially, you turn up your squelch until you don't hear those little itty-bitty radios, those little mud ducks. Alright, let's just go ahead and turn that volume down so it doesn't distract, because I might grab the microphone and try to talk to somebody. Alright, up next we have mic gain and RF gain. Now, what is mic gain? Well, mic gain is the sensitivity of the microphone. So, how does that matter? We can dive into that at another time. Essentially, All the way down, you can scream into your microphone and nobody's going to hear you. All the way up, as I like to run it, you could whisper into it and they can still hear you just fine. Moving right along, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. You have 3 options. You have PA, FM, or AM. Now, why is that important? PA, okay, so you can plug an external speaker up to this and yell at everybody outside of your truck, your car, whatever it is that you own. FM, that is because this is also it's also a 10-meter radio. FM is how you communicate on 10 meter. AM is how you communicate on 11. Now, this one you have A, B, C, D, E, F. What does that mean? Well, I don't know from memory, but luckily, there's a cheat sheet. So, band A, B, C, D, E, F, and it shows you exactly what that frequency range is. Now, you might be at this moment asking, why is D, band D, not 2700 megahertz? Well, the simple answer is this. D was basically turned into 11 meter, or 27 megahertz. I did say 2700, I do apologize. Grammar Nazis, please stay away. We all make mistakes, no matter how proficient you are in something. Alright, now, by no means do I profess to be a scholar of CB or ham communications. I have been using them since I was about 8 years old. Doesn't make me an expert, but I have done research. I've done a lot of research, and I have learned where research, being theory, and practical application, they don't always jive. Alright, anyway, so here we have echo and tone. Echo being the top, tone being the bottom. Now, what does that do? That just simply changes how your voice sounds on the air. People play with that all the time. I keep my echo very low because I do try to talk very long distances. Why does that matter? The further the distance you talk, the harder it is to hear somebody, the more echo they have. And we can get into that in future videos, especially on base station. I treat this like a base station, even though it's a mobile. And that's just because, well, my base station is currently out of commission until my fiance and I find a new home to move to, because where we live currently is an HOA, and they don't really like 20-foot antennas on top of houses in an HOA. Who would have thunk it? HOAs are not for the common Republican. Boom! Alright, up next we will quickly talk about the amplifier that I run. Oh, but wait, aren't those illegal? Alright. Well, here we have, I'm sure everybody watching this knows how to read, an Avenger 250. Now, if anybody does know amplifiers, this is essentially nothing more than a boomer 250 or a boomer 200. I have not pulled the skirt and checked to make sure which exactly. Personally, I don't really care. It works, it gets me out, and I punch people hard on the waves with it. So, without further ado, yes, it is hidden underneath my seat. Why? Because I like legroom. And so does my fiance when she does get into this car. So, we have the power. Boom, she turns on. And just for a quickie proof, radio on, key, unkey. And I'm sure some trucker out there is going to say, turn off that faggot beep. Yeah, whatever. Go suck an egg. Go find your lot lizard and get over it. Alright, then just below that you see preamp. I'll point it out for you. It's right here. Preamp. On, off. I run preamp on. Why? Because I like to hear those harder to hear mud ducks. and a lot of my mud duck friends down in Winchester, Virginia. Well, guys, sometimes, as we all know, it gets a little rough to hear you up here in Martinsburg, West Virginia. All right, on the top side, on the right, we have a high-low switch. I'm sorry, guys, if you can't really see that one, but I'm sure you don't care at this point anyway. And on the bottom, you have SSB, AM, FM. Now, why is that one significant? Well, for those of you who don't understand or don't know and would care to learn, SSB is for super sideband, silly sideband, essentially just sideband. It's referred to by many names. This Connex that I run does not have sideband capabilities, so I keep that in the AM, FM position. Up next, we have the antennas. All right, I've got two antennas on this vehicle. All right, I've got two antennas on my Honda Civic. Oh my Lord. First one being this here guy. Good old Wilson Little Will. It's actually, I need to take care of that. The magnet is coming loose from the base a little bit. That's not very good. Anywho, you got this little guy. Not a particularly tall antenna. All right, so that's antenna number one. Now over here, we have a tripod magnet mount. Now these magnets are quite large. I want to say they're 6-inch magnets times 3 with a triangle bracket. Nice little elbowed PL259 adapter with my coax. Nice heavy duty, not super heavy duty. Once I start running significantly more power, this will get upgraded. I'll get some better shielding on it, so on and so forth. Now we have the big guy, the guy that I use. I cannot reach the top of this guy. He is 102 inches, or a 3/4 wave steel rod. Now, why would I use that versus this guy who looks like he'd be so much better because he's got a big coil on the bottom? Well, doesn't that coil mean something? Well, absolutely, that little coil there does mean something. Inside of that coil is just more, well, it's copper wrapped around multiple times to equal the same distance of material as that big guy. So there's a couple of significant things about that, and we will get into that, just not right now. Moving forward with this video. Well, I was gonna shoot one more part of this video to kind of tie it all together and kind of show a practical difference between the Little Wilson and the 102-inch whip. Couple of things went against me on being able to facilitate that. One, my usual spot for trying to DX, well, there was somebody in the way, so I couldn't go there. So I tried going to another spot I've never been to, but I was kind of hoping that the road would go up to essentially the same elevation that I frequent. But that just didn't happen. So unfortunately, I had to come back down to reality in the middle of Martinsburg, West Virginia. It's an RF hellhole. You got power lines absolutely everywhere. You've got cell phone towers everywhere. I mean, my buddies down in Winchester and I have a hard time talking to each other, even barefoot. I was trying, even with that Avenger 250 going, and I just could not quite. I don't want to say I couldn't quite make it there, but I was not getting a return. Earlier today, I was getting 50, 60 miles, no problem, without the boomer. I've talked clear out of state. I've talked all the way down to southern Florida without the boomer, or Avenger 250, whatever you want to call it, without my, as I call it, little helper. With that being said, I'm probably going to hold off on posting the video until I'm able to demonstrate. But I'm going to hold on to this one just so I can kind of give an explanation as to why you're going to see me in 2 different outfits and 2 different locations to wrap this video up the way I intended. Alright, so that's on 19. I just squelched out the white noise that you may or may not have been able to hear. This is the first time I've tried to shoot an entire video on my phone. I know it picks up audio exceptionally well. In fact, better than my Nikon D750. Like, what? But anyway, we won't get into that whole issue as to why a multi-$1,000 camera can't pick up audio very well. That ain't anybody. Just a little bit. Nothing. Bray 19, you drivers in Hagerstown currently? 10-4 just came through there. Oh well. Hey, I resemble that remark. I mean, resent. These dumb fucks probably don't even know what those 2 words mean. But I like to have fun with them. As you just kind of saw. Alright. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Y'all are probably sick and freaking tired of looking at my yellow teeth and my ghetto beard. I know it needs to be fixed up. You don't got to tell me. So, guess I'm going to leave it there. 322, we'll catch you on the next one. And who knows, the next one might be about... God only knows, my life is so random. I'd like to call myself the king of random, but taken, and I really like their show as well. I would like to also give out a shout to Rufus, Mr. G, disabled to able. Best guy I could ever know. Known him for almost, what now, 12 to 15 years, somewhere in between there. Love him more than a brother, but he's the biggest pain in my ass. Love you, dude. Talk to you in a little bit.